Hi everyone, this is Jan, and today's project is going to be an easy beginner-friendly coaster. And I have it right here, and I make these coasters out of the center fabrics that I cut out from my large toppers. And this fabric that I used here came out of this topper right here, the center part here that we cut out. Okay, and then we go ahead and make a coaster out of them. Here's another piece of fabric. They're just like a 6-inch circle is what they are, and the fabric is so pretty I don't want to throw them away, so I like to go ahead and make a little coaster with it. And I like to do that because I have an eBay store, and whenever someone purchases a large topper like this, what I do is I go ahead and send them a coaster for free just for purchasing the topper. And they seem to really like that. And you can do the same thing whenever you give a topper to someone. Go ahead and include the coaster with it. They'll really appreciate it, okay? So for this coaster here, we want to design this in my design center. There's only 6 steps to it, so if you've never done a project in my design center, this would be the first one that I would start with because there's only 6 steps and they're very easy steps. So let's go to my design center. And the first thing that we want to do on this is we want to put our outside placement line. That is the line that is the outside of the coaster. And to do that, we need to go into shapes. We need the circle. We need OK. We need to go to line, or we need to go to size. And we want to bring this down to 5.50. So let's go ahead and go to this icon right here and watch the numbers right here. We want to drop it down to 5.50. There we go, 5.50. That's how big we want our coaster to be. I am going to use a 6x6 hoop for this. So my hoop size is 6x6, and that lets me look at this and say, yeah, I like that size right there. And it's a nice little size. It's not too small, not too big. The next thing we want to do, we've got our size, let's center it. So push the dot. Push OK. Now go to line properties. We want to run stitch. And I usually make this one red. And we want OK. Now we want to go to bucket. Touch the line. Turn it red. This one here, before we push next, we want to save this in our computer. Our machine. Why? Because we're going to pull it up later. Okay, so go to the pocket with the arrow going in. Go to the machine. And now it's saved in our machine. Now we go to next. Leave the stitch length at this setting. Preview. Set. Okay. And now we have the red outline, placement line, up here in the corner. Now you know you've finished a segment whenever you're in this screen and you have the add button right there. So the next thing we need to do is we need to make the batting tack down line. So we're going to go add, My Design Center. We want to go into Shapes again. We want a circle. We want OK. We want size. Now this one right here, I want to make this 5.45. I want the batting line smaller than the placement line. Don't want that batting in my placement line. So we want this one 5.45. Center it, push the circle there, and then OK. Now go into Line Properties. We want to run stitch, and I usually make this a rust color right down here next to the red. OK. Now go to Bucket, touch the line. I'm not saving this in the pocket. Go Next. Keep the stitch length. Preview. OK. Set. OK. Now you'll see it right up here. And also on your screen, you're going to see that this is a little bit smaller than the outside line. And that's what we want. Alright, the next thing we want is a fabric placement. So go to Add. Now for this one, go to My Design Center. Now for this one, we're going to call up the red circle that we saved in the pocket. So here's the pocket going out. Touch that. Touch your machine. Here's the red circle right here. It's always going to be this top left circle up here. Okay. Everything else saves this way. So touch that. Set. Go to Line Properties. I'm going to change the color. Go to Run Stitch. And for this one, I'm going to do purple. OK. Go to the bucket, touch the line, change it purple, and I'm not saving this one. OK. Go to Next. Keep the stitch length, preview. OK. Set. OK. All right, we got 3 steps in here. Okay, we got 3 more to go. The next thing we want to do is add our fancy fill or stipple stitch. So go to Add, My Design Center, and we want to go to the pocket. We want to pull up that red circle again. Go to the machine, recall that red circle. Go Set. Go to Line Properties up here. No Sew. OK. Go to Bucket. Touch the line. And before we do anything else, we want to tell it to do the stipple stitch. So go to Fill Properties. Go to the stipple. I usually choose blue for a stipple or any kind of fancy fill. Go OK. Go to your bucket down here in Fill Properties. Touch the center. Go to Next. Now here's your settings. This one here I don't change because that is the stitch length. I always leave it at 0.080. The next one here, we're going to change this one. This one is for the spacing, and I upped mine to 3. Now you can change yours whatever you want to. Oops. All right. spacing, I had it 3. The next one up here is for the distance, and I put mine on 0.020. 0.020. Set. I want to preview this. Okay. Alright, now that looked okay to me, so I went ahead and kept my settings. Now let's say you did your settings and you didn't like it. You can go back to return, and it will bring the settings up again, and you can change those. Let's say you've changed them. Go back to preview. Okay. And then you would look at them, and when you're satisfied with them, you would push set and OK. All right, there's your fancy fill right there. Now the next thing we want to do is add our trim to it. We want to add a little decorative stitch, this right here, the little green stitching here. So we want to go to Add, My Design Center, and we need to make a circle. Touch the circle, touch OK. Now we need to size it. And we want this one to be, the trim I have it set on a 4-inch circle. So we'll go up here. Here's where you're looking. .4 inches. Now if you want yours to be further out or further in, you can change it whatever you want to. Okay, I'm going to push the circle to center it, push OK. Now we go to Line Properties. Now we get to choose our motif that we want. Now this is our choices right here, and then I have a little arrow here, and I push that, and I can go into Select. Okay, and this gives me other options. That one would be pretty also, the feather stitch, a vine stitch. Any of these would be really nice. You could try them all out. So I'm going to touch OK. I'm going to go back, and I chose this little diamond here. Okay, chose that one. And then for the trim, I chose green as my color. Go OK. Now let's go into line. Let's see, no, we want to go into the bucket. Yes. Now touch your line. Now let's go to next. Now it's our settings. And let's see, for the settings, this is the size. I made mine 200. So there we go, 200. And then this icon is for the thickness. Anytime it has a black box, that means that's a normal setting. Now if you wanted to change that, you could go up to 6, but I went ahead and I left it on normal. Okay, so then I push set. I want to preview this. Okay. And that looked okay to me. Alright, remember, if you want to change that, go back to return, do your settings, change your settings, and then go back to preview, OK, and then set, OK, and now our trim is on our coaster. Okay, we got one more thing to do, and that is to do our backing. So let's add my design center. Now I didn't save. I'm going to use the same settings that I do for my batting tack down, which would be the 5.45. So I need to go make a circle again. Press a circle, press OK. Our size, we need 5.45. Now you could have put this in your memory and you would have had it saved, but I don't because I get it confused with my other lines. So okay, 5.45. Center it and okay. Alright, now we want to go into line properties. We want to run stitch, and I always do the last stitch in yellow. Okay, go to the bucket. You can see the little box here tells you what stitch you're on. Bucket, turn it yellow. Okay, go to next. Leave the stitch length. Preview. Okay. Now go to set. Okay. Alright, we have 6 steps here. If you don't have 6, you've done something wrong. Alright. Now what I want to do, this is very important, you want to save this before you push embroidery. You want to save it in memory. Just touch memory. We want it saved to the machine. Okay. Now if I want to stitch it out right now, I just hit embroidery and you can go ahead and stitch it out. Now if I want to stitch this out tomorrow, say this is tomorrow, then what I do is go into my design center. Oh, wait a minute. Just a minute, I'm sorry. Go into embroidery and click on the machine. That will bring up all of your designs you have saved in there. This was my last one that we just now did. Click on that, click set, click embroidery. Okay, and you're ready to stitch out. Alright everyone, I hope you do this little coaster. It's so cute. And like I said, you can change these little trims. I would, as I do more of the little coasters here, I'm going to change all these trims and I'm just going to see what each one of those trims looks like on a little coaster. I'm just curious. Good morning everyone, this is Jan. And today I have a really easy, beginner-friendly project for you today. And I am going to show you how to do the easy coasters that we do on my design center. Okay? And if I am a beginner for my design center or IQ designer, I would start with this project here because it's not real hard to do and it's not involved as some of the other projects. Okay, so what I've done is I have a 6x6 hoop here and I have no-show stabilizer. I have fusible batting that I'm going to be using. I use the centers that I cut out from my big table toppers. They're, they're in a circle. And I use these to make a coaster. I like these little circles. They're really pretty and I don't want to throw these away. quilters or sewers, they don't want to waste a lot of fabric, but what I do with them is whenever I sell a topper, I include a little coaster along with it for free. I have a big eBay store and I sell these toppers on eBay. I also have my floral paintings on there that I sell also. So what I do is I usually do the coasters very easy. I don't do complicated coasters, and I will have two machines running at the same time. I have a little flare machine over here, and whenever I am sewing a big topper, I will do some coasters so that I have a stack of them ready to go. So on this little coaster that I'm doing, the first color that comes up is a placement line for our batting. Okay, so that's the first thing that comes up. It's the red color. And I have green in here because this is going to be the same color I'm going to use for my stipple stitching and for my little chain stitch that I put on these. So I'm ready to go. Let's put that here and let me go ahead and stitch this outline stitch. And when I come back, we'll go ahead and put our batting on. So I'm going to push the green button now. Now you notice that I pushed the green button and I stopped it. Now when you do these circles in My Design Center or IQ Designer, they will do a double run. And I don't need another run on this because I'm just using it as a placement line. So what I do is I stop the machine and I push my scissors. Okay, and that will stop that red line. Then what you do is you go to your plus and minus icon at the bottom here. You touch that and you want to go to the second color. So I advance it to the reddish brown color, and that's showing on my screen. And the reddish brown color is going to do my batting line. Now I have fusible batting. I want the fusible facing up. Just put it on here, kind of spread it out, and touch the green button. Now what we're going to do is cut our batting. We're going to trim it right to the edge there. Close to the edge. Let me stand up. I try not to take my hoop out from the machine because the more you do that, you're going to end up wear and tear on those hoop sensors, and eventually you're going to have to replace those. That's what I have my Solaris in the shop for. It needs some hoop sensors to be replaced, and my dealer said that was pretty common after you've used your machine, for a year or two, depending on how much wear and tear you have on it. Okay, so now we have trimmed our batting, and the next color is the lilac, and that is for our fabric placement line. Now what I am going to do is I am going to go over to the ironing board. Let me make sure that is centered on there. Don't want it too close. There we go. Now I am going to take it out of the hoop. I'm going to go over and iron this onto the fusible batting so it doesn't move anywhere. So I'll be right back. All right, we're back. And what this color is going to do is it's going to tack down our fabric. Now that stitching line is done, and you can see how right in here, see how the batting is higher than what the stitch is, and that is because we did our batting smaller than the outside line. So the outside line, that batting is not in this outside line, okay? And it makes it easier for the coaster to lay flat. So the next thing we want to do is do our stipple stitch. If you want a different color, go ahead and change your thread color. I usually start out whatever color I'm going to do for the stipple stitching. That's what I have in my machine when I first start. So I'm going to do it in the green. So let's go ahead and start our fancy fill. Okay, now it's completed the fancy fill stitch there. Looks really nice on that. And the next thing I want to do is do the little decorative trim that is on this. Again, I'm going to use the same color, and we're going to do a little diamond stitch that is on this. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. Alright, that is finished. I really like that stitch. That's really pretty. And all we did was enlarge that stitch as large as it would go, and we left the thickness on normal. I love the fabric. Little daisies are so cheery. I can't wait for spring. I love flowers and I love spring. Now we've got one more step to do and we are finished with the little coaster. Now I want to try out and see. No, that fabric is not going to work. Alright, so I have green here. I'll have to put the green on. I know the green will fit. So, whenever we're doing the backing, what I like to do is I like to take the backing and I do the top one first. Okay, we do the top one first, the folds down here. Now, do I need to back up a little bit on this? I think we'll be all right. I'll just have to watch where my hands are. What I do is I put the fold right here at the center points of the hoop. Right here. Bring that fold right on that. Okay. Oops. Let me back this up a little bit. There we go. Okay, bring that fold right on those little notches there in your hoop. What this will do is when you turn it inside out, the fold of this fabric will be right in the center. It won't be cottywampus or whatever you call it. And you won't have the back part. It won't be way up here. I've done that before. And I was trying to figure out, how do I get that in the center so it looks nice? Okay, so that one goes right there. Now for the bottom one, we just go ahead and put that on. And I just do, a notch. See, there's notches inside there. You can't see them, but there's notches. I do about an inch and a quarter, something like that. And I put that down, and I can see the fold right there from the other fabric. Now I have some tape over here that I used the other day, and I usually use my tape strips a couple of times. Now what we want to do is tape down the edges right here. We do not want our foot to get caught underneath those folds of fabric, so make sure you tape them down. There we go. Okay, we're good and set to go. Now this next one, we'll do a double run. And it will be our last stitch. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start this, and I'll show you how to stop your machine so that when you go over the tape, it won't pull up your tape and accidentally get stuck on there. All right, let's go ahead and go. Now I stop my machine just right at the edge of the tape. Go ahead and hold the green button in. And once it gets past the tape, then you're all right. And we'll do the same thing when it goes over on the other side. Stop it. We're right at the tape's edge. Push in and hold it. Okay, there's that sound that it is done. Now we can go ahead and take it out of the hoop. I'm going to take it out and I'm going to take the tape off of it. Like that. Okay, get my little hoop attachment here to unwind it. Then go ahead and pop it out of the hoop. Alright, now we have it right here. I have a pair of pinking shears right here. I have a pair of Fiskars, but Gloria Horn sells some really nice scissors on her website. And you need some that are really good so that you're not struggling, because it is harder to cut with the pinking shears than it is regular scissors. And I do this so I don't have to trim, you know, the little around the circle. This does it for me. So I go ahead and cut it fairly close to the stitch. But far enough away to where it's not on the stitch. Alright, we've got that trimmed. Now what we want to do is we want to turn this inside out. So let me turn this inside out. And I usually run my finger around it first to kind of get it going. Like that. And then I will take my turning tool, which is a turning tool, and you will run that right along the outside edge here. You can get these on Gloria Horn also. These are great. They have a ball end on them, so it's not going to poke a hole through your fabric. Now, if you ever do that once, you won't do it again. You will buy something or use a crochet hook or something that doesn't have a sharp edge on it. Okay? Now, I want you to see how this fold here now, it lined up right in the center. And it'll look really nice once your coaster is ironed. And they flip it over, it'll be right in the center. Now when you iron this, you want to fold these edges like that. Just curl them in. And then iron the edges. And do the same thing on the other side. Curl the edges in some. See how I'm curling it in some? Just like that, and iron it. And then when you put your fusible strip on there, you know, your steam-a-seam 2, So you iron this nice and flat so it looks really nice. And then to close that up, use your Steam-A-Seam 2. You can get this on Gloria Horn's website also. And what I do on this is I just go like that and tear this off like that. And when I want to put this inside, what I do is I take and I bend the top part there, just bend it, and then pull it away from your glue. And I take that one, I put it in here, right near the top, take this finger, hold it, and then lay this in here. Push it down. That'll make it stick. And then I go ahead and iron that. Make sure you pull these in before you iron it. Pull these in. Okay, and then you iron it. And then once you iron that, you let this cool. Don't try to take off this paper backing when it's hot. It'll pull your glue off too. So then you pull that strip off, the paper off, realign that, press down, and the sticky will hold it, and then go ahead and iron that back nice and flat. Then, whenever I iron the front and it has any kind of embroidery on it, what I do is I use a press cloth on everything. This is just some white fabric that I had, white 100% cotton fabric. I lay it down and I put it over my embroidery, and then I iron on top of that. I never put a hot iron on embroidery without a press cloth on it. Okay, I don't want to scorch anything. And I usually iron everything on medium heat. I have a little Panasonic over there that is what Gloria sells, a cordless Panasonic. I love it. It's small, it's not real heavy. So that's what I use to do all of my ironing with. The only time I have that iron on high is if I am ironing wrinkles out when I'm just beginning to want to gather all my fabrics up and everything and they're all wrinkly. Okay, other than that, I use the medium setting on it. Well, that is your little coaster. It's not laying flat because I haven't ironed it. But anyway, that's what it looks like. Isn't that cute? And these are really good beginner projects, everyone. And that way you don't have to waste those circles. I can't stand to waste those circles. So whenever you give a larger topper to someone, hand them a coaster. Let's see. So what I do is, let's say you were going to give this coaster to someone, okay? Go ahead and give them the table topper, and then go ahead and include a little coaster in there that's made out of the same fabric, and this is the circle that was cut out of this fabric, okay? And that's what I do on eBay also. They buy a topper from me, I go ahead and include the coaster along with it as a free gift. And they really like that idea. So anyway, that's an idea that maybe you can incorporate yourself. Okay, everyone, thank you so much. Make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. Make sure that you let your sewing friends know that I have a YouTube channel up and I have all these wonderful projects you can do using my design center, and I will have other projects up that are done using the Solaris, which would be IQ Designer. My machine is in the shop right now, so I don't have it here, so that's why I'm doing everything on my design center. Okay, so it's going to have both. If you have a brother machine or if you have a baby lock machine, you will have instructions on how to make these cute little projects. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Take care, and until I see you again, bye for now.